Hello everyone, Rabbi Abe here. Welcome. If you're new, I'm a Kabbalah teacher and I teach many things, including secrets of wealth building and money according to the Bible. Of course, you say, what does this Jewish guy have to tell me about money? Well, we all know that Jews appear to be successful relative to the rest of the population. It's not, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Of course, there are all the conspiracies out there, and I know I'm going to get some of them in the comment, and that's okay. But the point is, Jews seem to have some knowledge that most people don't have. And it's only because it's held within the secrets of the Torah, the Bible. So if the Jews actually follow the Torah, those who do, and those who really use those tools, they are keys to success. I would like to share them with you. Some of them, okay? We have a lot of videos, and I try to, fit in what I can in each video. So the question of this, video is money godly? That's the question. I mean, what does money have to do with God? We might think nothing. In fact, all we've, been taught, probably from young age, many people, is money is the root of all evil. How many of you have heard that? Money is the root of all evil. Oh, okay, so some people fine-tune it and say the love of money is the root of all evil. But let's talk about money in general. What is it exactly, and how does it function on a spiritual or energetic level? So the question here is it divine, or is it really a negative thing? What is it? Obviously, it's something we all need. We need to sustain ourselves. We need to sustain our families. Maybe even bigger than that. Some people want to sustain their community or help out in some way. We'll get to that. But what is the intrinsic force of money? And you would be very surprised to know that money does have something to do with a godly force. What does it mean? First off, money itself is never neutral. Oh, what do we mean by that? In other words, the moment it's owned by someone, it will take on the characteristic of that individual. Well, I'll tell you what I mean. Again, the only time money is neutral is when it's not, it's not in someone's possession yet. Then it's like, in limbo. But the moment we take possession of that money, however we get that possession, again, and I'm not now talking about stealing, I'm talking about how do we get money? Maybe we should start there. How does a person get their money? Well, you work, or you have a business, or something of that nature. So we put in our effort and energy, maybe sweat, and tears, and we get money in exchange for whatever it is that we do or put energy into. So money is the exchange of effort and energy. What does that mean spiritually? Well, that money, which didn't have a value before I owned it, or not owned it, but before I possessed it, takes on the energy as an exchange of what I did for it. Now, what does that mean? Well, listen. Maybe a big movie star could spend only maybe a few hours doing a part in a movie and get paid, I don't know, $20 million. Does it happen? Yeah, there are people like that. Get paid $20 million. Now, what would be the value of that money as opposed to, I don't know, someone who's maybe digging ditches 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and really sweats and, labors very hard for their pay. Now, this individual spent 3 hours on a set. The movie actor spent 3 hours on the set, got paid $20 million for that appearance. And this guy spent, 60 hours a week, overtime, everything, and got paid, let's say, I don't know how much he got paid. Maybe he made $1,000, which maybe is generous. $1,000 in the week. So, relatively speaking, what would you say the value is of the $20 million that this guy got paid, or the $1,000 that this other fella digging ditches got paid? Would the value be the same? Now think about that. Because who gives value to the money? You mean, is it the numbers on the bill? Well, there's some established value, yes. But the real value is determined by who? By the one who owns the money. Let's say a person wastes money. Well, what's the value of the dollar? Not a lot. Because they waste what they have. So it's easy to waste $1. Maybe it's even easy to waste $100, and you wasted it. So clearly, the value of money can certainly be increased or decreased depending on how we treat it as an entity. Now, I'm not here to tell you, well, so worship your money and you hold on to it and hoard it. No. We're not saying that either, okay? But we'll get to that. The Kabbalists explain that everything in this world is made up of two aspects: a vessel and a light. A kli, a vessel, a spiritual vessel, and a light. A vessel means a holder for energy. It's a holder. It's like a placemat. It holds energy. Just like, our body is a holder for the soul. Okay, that's a big example. But my iPhone, as an example, is a holder for some energy that provides me with whatever it provides me with. Whatever it does, communication and help with, whatever. It's communication basically, but many uses, as we all know. So everything is a vessel. We call it a vessel or a holder of an energy that it will provide for us. Money is no exception. However, what's the difference between money and my phone or money and my car? Well, very simple. The basic fundamental difference is my car is limited. I can't eat it. I can't live in it. Well, I suppose it is possible. There are some people are living in their car. Okay. I can't wear it. So it's limited to the functionality of it. Right? We understand. The same thing with the phone. If the phone, it provides me with certain uses, but I can't use it for food. I can order, but I can't eat the phone, right? It's limited in its expression of value. So if you compare that to money, what can money do? What's the expression of the value of money? Well, wow. It has a lot of potential. Certainly more than the car, certainly more than the phone, certainly more than a book, certainly more than a pet, certainly more than anything. Why? Because you can potentially purchase all of those things with money. So money is an exchange that we can exchange for just about anything. Material things, pleasures, necessities, food, rent, whatever. All the basic necessities of life. And then, of course, beyond that. So money has the greatest potential value than any other material thing in our life, pretty much. Think about it. What's stronger, potential or actual? Potential or actual? And the answer is, of course, spiritually speaking, potential is always more powerful because there's certainly more possibilities, endless possibilities, and this is already manifest as something. Okay? My glasses may have been expensive. They're not, but they may have been, and that's it. I can only look through them. There's no endless possibilities with it. But the money that was used to purchase them does have endless possibilities, right? Pretty much. So money is important in the sense of the exchange value because of its ability to transfer the energy of my desire into another desire. Again, I worked, I got the exchange. I put my time, my effort, my energy into the work that I do. I got money as an exchange. And now I exchange the money for other desires that I may have or need. Okay, so we understand now, we should understand that money is an exchange of energy, of desire. That's what it is. Also, as I've said in other places, in other videos relating to money and wealth, that money itself awakens desire. It awakens desire in the person. Remember, if someone gives you a big stack of $100 bills, you feel a certain way. It's nice. If someone gives you a big stack of $100 bills, you feel a lot nicer somehow, because it awakens the desire of a person. It awakens a force of desire within the person, and consciously or unconsciously, I'm saying, wow, what can I do with this? I can do this, and I can do that, and I can buy that, and I can have that, and so on and so forth. So, again, some people even, they don't have the money and they're already spending it. Often I tell the story, what would happen in the old days, before there was all the digital technology. So, the lottery was actually, they picked numbers, right? It wasn't electronic. It was like the old bingo games. I don't know if anyone is old enough to remember those things, with the balls, right, in the machine, and it would come out, and the ball would come out, and they would pick however many numbers, 6, 9, whatever it is. And the lottery was that way at one time, long time ago. So they would pick the numbers. So imagine, a guy comes home and he gets on his answering machine, it wasn't voicemail at that time, it was answering machine, a message from the Lottery Commission. And the message is, "Sir, Mr. Jones, you have just won $20 million. And imagine, we're going back some time now. How does he feel? 20 million? Oh my God. He's dancing. He's dancing in the streets. He's already told all his family members. He's already figuring out what he's going to do with the money. He's already spent half of it. Crazy. Think about it. What if it were you? But you know what happens? Unfortunately, poor guy, Mr. Jones, gets a phone call an hour later. And the Lottery Commission, remember, because it's not the new technology. It's those balls, right? And the 6 looks like a 9. If you turn it upside down, there's a little line. And they goofed. And they say, "Mr. Jones, we are so sorry, but you didn't win." Now, how does Mr. Jones feel right now? How does he feel? Is he still elated? Is he still excited? No. In fact, Mr. Jones may want to find the closest bridge and jump. He can be down. He can be depressed. He can be really, he could be, potentially. Think about it. Why? Think about it. An hour ago, he didn't have anything. An hour later, he still doesn't have anything, but now he's, maybe suicidal. Why? Because it's not true that he didn't have anything. He took the energy of $20 million. He already took it to himself, even though he didn't have anything in his hands. Intangible energy. Raw energy. And he already divided it up. He already spent it, thinking of getting a plane and, going on vacation and doing all the things that someone who never handled that amount of money before might think to do. What the point is, money in Kabbalah is called the light of wisdom. Light of wisdom. Light of wisdom is actually, you will be very surprised to know, some of you, it is the raw energy of God's light. Yes, raw energy. Raw energy. Now, we shouldn't be that surprised, because in general, in order to understand this concept of light of wisdom, which is a part of the light, it's the raw energy that comes from God. Okay, raw energy that comes from God. We shouldn't be too surprised. Why? We all have experience in this. Did you ever have instant gratification from anything? Anything at all. Eating the chocolate cake that you said you're not going to eat. You haven't had carbs or sugar for 6 months. Now you have that piece of chocolate cake. Did you ever, I'm not going to go into detail, but instant gratification, we all know what it is. Did you ever have it? It's so strong, instant gratification. Instant gratification beats, working or resisting the thing, taking comfort right now, taking my pleasure right now. Any form of instant gratification is a high. Guess what it is? Why is it a high? Because it is a raw energy that comes directly from God. That's what it is. That's what it is. I just put it into this framework of taking comfort right now instead of going to work out like I said I should and I would, but I'm not. I'm going to sit and watch Netflix. That's what I'm going to do. So I took gratification now. Boy, it feels so good. Yeah, Is it long-term good? No. Long-term, you didn't work out, and you're still not working out, and you said you were going to work out, and you're not working out. So what's good? It's not really good, because long-term, it's not so good, especially if you need to work out. So the point is, money being a potential force, being an exchange of desires, our desires, means it will take on the character of the owner. That's what it does. And obviously, money, any form of energy, like electricity, like fire, has the potential for good, and it has the potential for bad. It is not intrinsically good or bad. It is neither. It is potential. Simply put, if I use the fire to warm myself or to cook, it's good. But the same fire, God forbid, can have disastrous results when there's a fire, right? Electricity, the same. It'll run my refrigerator, my blender, my whatever, anything, any appliance. But if I put my finger in the socket, I get an electrical shock. That's not good. It's not productive. It's not healthy. It's not anything good. It's bad. But does that mean electricity is bad? Is a fire bad? No, we need it to live. So it's always about the vessel, never about the energy. Money is potential energy. It's never good or bad. It depends on the force or the vessel of the user. That's you and me. We give money the power, or we remove the power from the money. And by the same token, we cause the money to multiply if we know how to handle it and handle its energy, or we don't. Now, I know what you're going to say. What about negative people? What about bad people? Bad people, they do bad things and they can make a lot of money. Absolutely true. That is absolutely true. But isn't it the same in any form of energy? We can survive on exist on instant gratification. A criminal exists on stealing. An addict exists on what he's addicted to. I mean, the alcohol is a high. It's amazing. Is it only a one-shot deal? Oh, but then you don't call him an alcoholic. When do you call him an alcoholic? When I need this to feel good, I need it, and it becomes my go-to, or I would say, it becomes my God. I enable it to have power over me. And now, eventually, the same amount is not good enough. It's not good. It doesn't do the job. I need more. I need to put more in, even to feel the same. You understand that? This is the basis of every addiction. Are there people who are addicted to money? Addicted to power? Yes, and they go together. Absolutely yes. Of course. But that money is not operating in a way of spiritual light for that person. It cannot. If that's the consciousness of that individual, they may make or have, however they steal. I'm going to say steal, right? I'm not saying necessarily stealing, but I know lots of people who are materially very wealthy and, very wealthy, and they're not happy. Shouldn't money and happiness go together? No, they don't. They don't go together. One has nothing to do with the other. Newsflash. Okay? Nothing. Money doesn't make you happy, just like nothing makes us happy, unless we have happiness within. If I'm happy when this happens and when that happens, I'll be happy. No, you're not happy. What happens tomorrow after that wears out? No. You're happy when you create within yourself the happiness. Happiness is not necessarily easy. What, are people naturally happy? I know we know someone, well, they're always happy. Well, maybe they have a different correction in life. But for the rest of us, happiness is an effort. It's work. If you're in a creative mode, you'll be happy because your soul feels, you know what, I'm doing the job I came here for. That makes us happy. And if I'm not, and if I'm selfish, and if I'm into my own ego, I can never be happy. That doesn't make us happy. That won't make us happy. Never. Only temporarily. And it's the same with money for that individual. Well, he'll make a lot of money, but it won't have any value. It'll always be more material. And the more material a person has or needs takes away from happiness, takes away from happiness. So there's a balance, there's a point. People need to figure out what's really necessary and what is not necessary. So I'm saying that. That doesn't mean physical, material is bad. No. It's a balance. It's a balance according to my needs. If I need to live in a 50-room house and I'm single, there's a problem. You understand? So we're not discussing that, obviously. We're discussing balanced energy, balanced consciousness. They must go together. So an individual who needs to make true money, real money, will be in a balanced state of consciousness, know what to do with their money, know also how to share of the money that they receive because it's energy, and it's one of the tools, of course, to create a circle, to create more abundance to come. But abundance that will assist me to do more, not less, not to have just the point of having more material. No, that's not the point, okay? And if it becomes the point, that's when that person is on the way down. Now, they may not think so. They think this is great. But again, it doesn't end. That's the point. It doesn't end. I always need another fix. And I hope I'm making sense, okay? Happiness is not needing another fix every moment. The work that we do in life should be our fix, quote unquote, meaning if you're helping others, if you're doing something useful, you provide a service, you provide a product that helps people, that makes the world a better place at whatever level, that's what you need. If you're putting your energy and your effort into that, you will be a happy person. You must develop the passion for that, to do that, right? Again, it doesn't matter what you do. You're on a job, you're in a business, but what you do, just as a side note, I guess, must be helpful in some way, at somewhere down the line. It must help others. So are there things that don't help other people? There are industries that don't help people, that are harmful for people, and you shouldn't be involved with that because your soul won't be happy with that. Won't be happy with that. You help people find a place to live. You help them, financially secure. Maybe it's insurance. Maybe it's whatever it is. I don't know. You manufacture something, you work in it, you work for that, you do that. Great, all good. If it helps people in one way or another, directly or indirectly, it's good. It's a good work. And if you're happy doing it especially, also good, even better. That's a blessing. Okay, what empowers our money? What empowers the money? What reveals more light of God in there? Well, very simple. Very simple. And I'll give you some tools in the end, because those tools, or how to treat money, is also quite important, as you will see. So the basic principle is this. When money is used for its proper purpose, it causes unification between the God force and us. What is the God force, according to the Kabbalists? One thing, it is the force of absolute and endless beneficence, sharing, everything, all good comes from one place, the light of the Creator, what we call God, period. It's the ultimate sharing, beneficent force. It's what fulfills. When we feel good, when we feel pleasure, when we feel any good, that's what we feel. This spiritual light, emotional light, satisfaction, this is God's light. And it makes everything else go too. All the coincidences, again, we don't even know, because 99% of the time, we are fulfilled, we don't know it. Yes, we're aware of this lack, we have this lack, we have this lack, but again, if you really think about it, it makes more sense that, things should go wrong rather than right. Think how many things could be going wrong, and most of it is going right. But what we are aware of are the lack that we experience in our life, and rightly so. And that's probably where we need to put more attention, whatever it is. But empowering the abundance that we have is a very simple rule. To be like the Creator. The Creator is beneficence. If we use our money to benefit others, some portion of that money, that means charity, That means what we call tithing, as it says in the prophets. We must do that. We must give 10% of our income. Even a poor person, you make $1, give 10 cents. This is how you will create the opportunity for more to come in. Yes. I can't tell you the amount of people who began to tithe. They tithe to their temple, to their church, to their mosque, to wherever, to our platform, people tithe, and come to me with stories of crazy things that happen. More abundance. That's the bottom line. More abundance. The deals that used to fall through don't fall through anymore. All kinds of stories. Because it works. It's a system. Because in the prophets in Malachi, it says that we determine it. If you know the section, it's Malachi chapter 3 from verse 4 to 24. Chapter 3, verse 4 to 24. Read it. It talks about the tithe. It talks about testing God. Test me in this and see if I don't open the supernal gates. It claims that we rob God. I mean, how is such a thing possible? We rob God when we don't tithe. How do you rob God? But you see, if you don't know the Hebrew, you're missing the point completely. Because in Hebrew, the word for rob actually means determine. So if you read the verse with the proper explanation, will a man determine God? But you determine me, not rob. You determine me. You determine how much spiritual light, how much abundance you have in your life. You determine me. How? You may ask, how? With the tithes. That's what it says. Read it. With tithe. You determine the light of the Creator with the tithe. It's the easiest thing that we can do to bring about more sustenance in our life. Okay, so there's this concept of tithing. But there's more. How do we create unification? Again, number one, never worship money. Never make that focus. Never make that your focus in anything. Because if what runs you is money, if what controls your life is money, you have replaced the real God with a false God. That's called a false God. Okay? So if money controls your life, if you allow profit or loss to destroy you, well, first of all, you're in the wrong, investing in the wrong way with the wrong headspace. You make an investment and you put all your eggs into that, and if it loses, you lose everything. I mean, that's absurd. No one would invest anything that way if you invest, okay? No. The rule is, if you invest, never invest more than you're willing to lose. I mean, that's a general rule. I think most people know that. Those who invest certainly know that. And then, if you make money, you take out your initial principal, you can reinvest your profit, whatever it is. But in general, you can't make the money your focus. That doesn't mean you shouldn't desire it. You should desire to make money. The more money you make or the more money you earn, the more good you can do in the world with it. No? Of course. Yes, that should be a motivation. How many more people can I help? How much more can I tithe? We should wish to tithe more, because that means more is coming in. Okay, some ideas here. Okay, how to act with your money. In other words, to increase abundance, how should you act? Because it's a relationship, right? It's a relationship. First, number one, don't hoard your money. It doesn't belong to you. First off, understand, our money doesn't belong to us. Our energy doesn't belong to us. Our time, they say two things that go together, time and money, right? Doesn't belong to us. There's no such thing as it can't be taken away at any given moment. No such thing. So first understand, it was given by the Creator and it can be taken away. This can happen, that can happen. We don't know, okay? So first, we must understand that as a principle and appreciate it as a force that is given by God, and it is in many ways an extension of God's light. Really? Yes. And what's its purpose? To do good with it. To do good for me. That doesn't mean buy myself pleasures all the time. It means I should eat the proper food. I should feed my family, to the best of my ability to afford it. Good, clean food. We should take care of things, right, that need to be taken care of. Does it mean Pleasures? Some. Of course, we should have pleasures in life, but balance. That's the key. Remember we said that? Balance is everything. Okay. Do you worship it? Hopefully not. Are you able to share it freely? Because it says there is one who shares freely, and it receives freely and receives also freely. This is a clue. This is a hint. How we behave with our money is an indication of our character. It's one of the things that also tell of our character, because if we're, let's say, stingy with our money, we'll likely be stingy with love. We'll likely be stingy with other emotional forms of energy with others. Yes, they go together because it's an energy. Remember, it's an energy. Okay? How you spend it and what you spend it on, if it's all about personal pleasures, it's a reflection, obviously. It's an extension of your energy. That's what it becomes when you have it, for the time that you have it. It reflects what's going on inside you. You got to keep that in mind. If we keep that in mind, maybe it'll keep us more, I don't know, honest. I don't know. But okay, things I learned from my teacher, okay? How to deal with money. Now listen carefully and don't judge it initially. Understand that money is given by God as an energy, and therefore we are not permitted to waste it. What does that mean? We're not permitted to waste it. It means several things. I'll tell you one of them. When it comes to physical things, the physical world, material world, take this the right way. Spend as little as possible on the material world. Meaning, no, of course, buy what you need. But don't spend, some people want to spend more for the same thing that they could get for less. I don't know what it is. Is it an ego thing? Put a label on it, and now you charge $10,000 for what? For the same thing that maybe you could get for $1,000 or $5,000. I don't know. I'm not into fashion. But the point is, people will spend money to satisfy their ego. I mean, I've seen, and I'm sure we've all seen things. Oh, one guy bought a banana stuck to the wall for, how much was it? $2 million? What is that? It's, okay, my personal opinion, it's crazy. Okay, that is crazy. And it has no respect. It's not respecting the energy that is God-given. Period. Change my mind. I'm open. Okay? But, people that appear to create art, and people call it art, and they put garbage together, and then, and who's buying it? People that have nothing, I don't know. I don't think I need to say more about that. Wasting money on the material world when it's not necessary is a sin. It is a sin. It is a sin. Because we take the energy that God gave us and we put it in the garbage. That's right. It's like putting it in the garbage. So I'm not saying don't spend on the material world. Absolutely, we should spend on everything we need, on all of our needs. But if you can pay less for the same thing, pay less. Pay less. Okay? Conserve the energy. Now that is when it concerns material things, because you are empowering the energy. It's not impressing anybody. And if you're on an ego trip and you feel, no, I'm just going to pay more for the same exact thing, well, then you have a problem, okay? Honestly, I'm sorry, but you do. If you can get the same exact thing for less money, but you insist to pay more, and I know people like that, you have a problem, okay? That's an ego. You are lessening the energy of God's light in your life. You are making it small. You are expanding the physical material world, which is controlled by negative forces, and you're reducing the energy of the light in your life. All right, fine. When it comes to spiritual matters, helping others, and there are rules to helping others when it's an individual. We have to be careful with that. And I'm not saying we shouldn't. But again, keep in mind, it's an extension of your energy. So if you're going to give money to the guy who's on the corner and he's going to buy alcohol with it, your money is being revealed in the world in that way. Do you think it's positive? If you think it's positive, go right ahead. I personally don't think so. If you're going to help other people, if you're going to help an organization which helps people, truly, and it's not going to all the administrative costs and everything else and so on and so forth, please be generous. Now's the time to open your pocket. You see, when it comes to charity, tithing, We should not be stingy. Spiritual matters expand the light. Material matters has the ability or capability to reduce the light. This is what we have to keep in mind, okay? Like I said, spending more on the material world feeds the material world, and again, more material, less energy. More energy, less material, but I think about it. Less is more very often, right? And I'm not saying we should have less. We should understand how to coexist with abundance and coexist and be happy with abundance. We shouldn't have to be poor to be happy. I mean, there are a lot of poor people who are actually happier than a lot of very wealthy people. That's a fact. But that doesn't need to be that way, okay? And I'm not saying that. Okay, so physical items should be priced appropriately. Spiritual items, I should look to spend more for spiritual matters, for giving, for sharing, for charity, for helping others. Yes, we just need to be careful, as I said, helping personally an individual. It doesn't mean to give them directly money. Okay, why? Because there's a concept of bread of shame in Kabbalah. It's a very tricky point, okay? So be careful when it comes to that. I can't go into the details now. You need to learn some Kabbalah to understand the principle. But we can cause an inner shame and resentment. And the old expression, the people who can hate you the most are those who you've helped the most. That's true, okay? We don't want that. We don't want that, okay? Remember, money is a godly force. It's an extension of raw energy of God, just like every other, other things are. So, bless your income. Bless whatever money you make. It's not enough. Don't do it. Bless your income, elevate it, and meditate that this should expand to meet your needs. Whatever it is. Use from the 72 names, I'll put it here, the 72 names, Samach Aleph Lamed. Samach Aleph Lamed. It's part of the 72 names. This relates to sustenance. Use the tools that you can download on RabbiAbe.com. Two things specifically: the 22-letter name of God, and the angel of sustenance. We'll put the QR codes here, and go to the comment section, go to RabbiAbe.com, and just go to the downloads. You can download them for free. Again, 22-letter name and the angels of abundance. It's two separate downloads downloaded on our website, okay? Ask yourself the question, is what I'm about to purchase, does it expand the light or does it expand my ego? Think about it. Now, true self-betterment expands light. You need to go get a massage, and you need that to feel better. Get a massage. You need to go get a massage every day because you just like it and this is what you need to do, and if you don't do it, you're going to be depressed. You have a problem now. Now it became your God. You made it your God, and whatever you spend on it is going to take it down for you. It's going to reduce the light over there, okay? Give some form of charity every day, even if it's three nickels every day with consciousness. I'm giving this charity just as a simple action. This doesn't replace tithing or the true help or charity. But we should give 3 coins of charity somewhere. You can keep a box, right? And just put it in the box every day. 3 coins, whatever they are. Not pennies, anything other than a penny, because it has to have certain value. But 3 coins, and when it collects, you'll figure out where you're going to give it, okay? Where you're going to donate it to when it collects. Very important, okay? It's a special spiritual connection, giving some form of charity every single day, and the intention should be, I want to create more abundance so I can do more, expand the light in my life, in my family's life, and in the life of other people, for sure. And by the way, and I'm saying this, okay, if you do even half of these things, you will see results happen in the form of more opportunity, more abundance, or feeling better in your life with what you have. More happiness, more peace of mind, more contentment. What is the value of that? I ask you. Blessings, guys. And I bless everyone with abundance, endless abundance. Because imagine, if we have that level of abundance, How many people in the world could we help? The world will become a much better place. All the best, and I'll see you very soon on the next one.